What's up, guys? This is Spencer Caldwell from the MVP coverage team. We have a deck profile for you guys. Our friend Josh here was running Prophecies, so he's going to show you the build right now.
Yeah, first you got 3 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. When he's flip face up or normal summoned, you add 1 Spellbook spell card to your hand. He's a level 2, which is pretty nice because you can stack for Gachi or Shining Elf or
Dagesta Phoenix,
yeah.
which is arguably probably the best rank 2 right now.
Also, what's nice about this is you can search this card out with Spellbook of Secrets, because Spellbook of Secrets only requires you to search out a Spellbook card, and since Spellbook is in his name, you essentially can Rhoda for a card that'll get you other Rhodas. This card also pairs really well with Wonder Wand. It turns the entire combo into a +1.
Exactly. That's a pretty... I actually like how you start off right here with pretty much the Heart and Soul deck. Would you say that this is the Heart and Soul of the deck?
This is what facilitates you getting all your spellbooks to your hand. There are some other ways to add spellbooks to your hand and fixing your hand, but this is how you thin your deck most of the time with the Prophecy Magicians.
So yeah, this would be what you say would be the main part of the deck.
Yes.
All right, next.
Next are 3 Justice of Prophecy.
I don't have much knowledge on these, so please explain.
Justice of Prophecy, during the end phase of every turn, yours or your opponent, in which you activated a spellbook spell card, you can banish this card to add both a level 5 or higher lighter dark spellcaster type monster and 1 spellbook from your deck to your hand.
That's pretty broken.
Yeah, one of the things you got to think about in this deck is you got to make sure that you don't end your turn with more than 6 cards in your hand, because you don't want to discard. This card is a great card to bring out off of the tower, and this also fixes your hand. So, like, if you have High Priestess in your hand and you don't have spellbooks, this card will get you another Priestess, which it's 25 and it's easy to special.
So,
and
would you say where you said you don't want to have the discard from your hand? Did you have any of that issues today?
Yes, I did. Round 4, I had to end my turn with 8 cards in hand, even though I set as many as I could, so I was forced to discard 2.
Okay. So in occasion it does create a minus to yourself in a way, but it's still very good.
Yeah.
Especially with the cards in the graveyard.
Yeah, as long as you're controlling properly, you shouldn't have to discard unless you're in a bad situation and you were forced to activate like multiple Reckless Greeds when you can't afford to.
All right, that's cool.
Next, I'm running a single Temperance of Prophecy.
Now, whenever I see spellbooks, I normally think of 3 of this card. Why only 1?
Temperance has a big problem where he falls very easily to hand traps.
Okay.
Granted, he's great when you can like bring him out, quickly play a spellbook, get him out, and grab a High Priestess from your deck. And granted, that plays is really, really good.
All right.
But it's just pretty much you're forced to activate a spellbook to trade this off for a bigger one, and you're restricted from special summoning any other level 5 or higher monsters during this turn. And sometimes, if you're going to push for a game, you're going to want to drop like multiple priestesses at a time.
Right. So you're saying one of is probably the best option.
If you're running the build like mine, I think one of is an option. Maybe 2 if you'd like to. I just didn't have the room for multiples, and I would rather run 3 Justice than 3 Temperance.
Okay. All right.
Then the boss monster, 3 High Priestess of Prophecy. You pretty much have to run 3.
Yeah, exactly. The boss. You have to run 3 of the boss.
When you can reveal it from your hand to activate its effect and reveal 3 spellbook spell cards, and you can special summon it. So it's nice because you can't get Thunder King tributed away.
That and the fact of the destroy effect.
Yeah. When this card is on your field, you can banish a spellbook spell card from either your hand or from the graveyard to destroy any card on the field. It's pretty good. I hear having a Hyperion at 3 that's pretty easy to special is nice.
Yeah, I think that's actually a little bit easier to summon than Hyperion in this format, especially because of the fact that you can do it from the hand with cards in your hand instead of Macarabbit banishing all your fairies.
Yeah, and also, like, since there is no like restriction on the summon, you can bring it back.
No, wait, does it have to be a spellbook spell card, or can it be any
spellbook spell card?
Okay.
Well, that would be really, really derpy.
Yeah, because then you could do it with that card.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I asked.
Yeah, also another thing is this is level 7, so you can stack 2 for Big Eye.
Big Eye is broken.
Which is Big Eye is also a spellcaster type monster, so this deck can support it.
Oh, that's even better.
Next, I'm running 2 Effect Veilers. They're tuners, so they give me access to Synchro monsters, which I have a lot of options in this deck because of Spellbook of Life's level modulation effect.
Okay.
I can turn this into pretty much whatever level I want to, or another monster into pretty much whatever level I want to, and quick sync out for what I need. It's also a spellcaster, so it counts towards my graveyard cards.
All right, that's pretty good.
2 Maxis.
So you're pretty much just going to the hand trap right
Yep,
now. So
2 Maxis.
Generic Maxis, okay.
And then Gores and 2 Tragodia.
Okay. Did you like it? Did you like with the Tragodias in it?
I love Tragodia. Your deck, you almost always end your turn with 6 cards in hand.
That's then yeah, that makes more sense to
Yeah,
run it then.
yeah, you 6 cards in hand. That's big, and then you can Reckless Greed.
Nice.
That's all for my monsters.
Yep. Now we're going on to the main spell cards.
3 Spellbook of Secrets searches out any spellbook card like the Magician or any of the other multiple spellbooks in your deck.
Oh yeah, so it's the Rhoda that you can use over and over again.
Then I'm running 3 Spellbook of Power.
That's pretty much a given in my opinion,
Yeah.
because it's a 1K. I mean,
Yeah,
that gets over almost anything.
Boosting 1,000. It makes your Justice run over Logia without even trying.
Exactly. If they don't negate it.
Yeah, well,
If the-
and then you
if they
force a negation.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
since you can search out any spellbook besides itself, it helps get through the deck. 2 Spellbook of Eternity.
That's the one that you add the one banish, right?
Yeah, you get a banished besides itself from your back to your hand, which is really convenient for getting back dead spell towers. You just banish it with Priestess or Fate, and you grab it
That
back.
you can also get your justice back.
Yeah, and you can only get spellbooks,
Oh, okay.
not Justice.
Not justice. My bad.
But also when you can banish cards for the High Priestess effect, then have this just to get them back.
That's even better, especially if you do the secrets, of course.
2 Spellbook of Wisdoms. They're like a class-specific land just for spellcasters.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to choose. It's also the only spellbook that can be activated multiple times per turn.
Okay.
Usually the gimmick is one copy of a spellbook per turn. This is the only exception. Target a spellcaster, you either make it immune to the rest of spell effects for the turn or all trap effects for the turn.
And if you activate them both at the same time, then you can just do traps and spells.
Yeah,
So-
well, you rarely need it. Honestly, during your turn, it's probably going to be traps, and during your opponent, it's probably going to be magic.
Exactly.
1 Spellbook of Life. I'm only running 1 because for Spellbook of Life, you really need to have multiple spellbooks in your hand to use it, and you're never going to be using Spellbook of Life that often.
Right.
And when
And you can recycle it.
yeah, exactly. If you recycle it, who cares?
And you can get rid of Obelisk.
Yeah.
And
We're gonna get next Spellbook of Fate.
That's the card that you would say was probably the best tech of the deck.
Spellbook of Fate. It fills a lot of the holes that the deck has. Banish 1, bounce a set spell or trap card on the field to the hand. Banish 2, change a monster on the field to either face up attack position or face down defense position. Or banish 3 to banish a card your opponent controls. What's nice about this card is none of these effects target.
Yeah,
So-
the one that does target is the one that is 3.
No, none of them. None of them target.
Really? I thought you had to target 3
Nope.
up to 3.
No spellbook. Or else I wouldn't have been able to get rid of Hardened Obelisk. If this card took out a Hardened Obelisk, the Tormentor, yeah, none of these effects target.
That's ridiculous.
1 copy of the Grand Spellbook Tower.
Yeah, I was surprised. I would think you would be running at least 2 of those.
My problem with running multiple copies of Grand Spellbook Tower is when they're in your hands and you already have one on the field, they're complete waste of space.
Okay.
And you can search out your 1 tower with 9 cards if you count the powers.
Okay.
And then you can just recycle it really easy. Also, I like drawing multiple cards per turn.
So yeah, it's like fuck one draw.
Yeah, then I'm running 2 Wonder Wands. Don't want to forget that Wonder Wand does give the spellcaster plus 500.
That is true. It gives them bumps them up 500, and then whenever you're done with it, you just get rid of it for 2 cards.
Yeah, well, one of the things I like to do a lot is I would play the Spellbook Magician,
Okay.
add power to my hands, equip it with Wonder Wand to boost it up to 1,000, then play power, boost it to 2,000. Then you get to attack, search again, and then draw twice.
Okay. Now I'm seeing a lot of drop power in this deck. Did you have any deck out issues yet?
Nope.
Okay.
The closest I got to deck out was round 4 when I took out the Obelisk,
Okay.
and I had 7 cards left in the deck.
Okay, so that's not too bad then.
2 Mystical Space Typhoon to clear back row.
Okay, pretty obvious. Just generic. That's just the generic ones. The pots.
It helps them search the deck out. You don't need.
there's not a lot of special summoning in the deck, so if you're not going to have a shit ton of special summoning, then you're obviously going to want it.
Yeah, and it helps set up because this deck you set up and then you kill as fast as you can. Then, of course, your big power cards: Heavy
Yeah.
Storm, Darkhold, Monster Reborn.
Gotta have them. If you're not running them, then there's something wrong with you.
And then Triple Reckless Greed.
The only 3 traps. That's part of the reason why I was wondering why if you had any deck out issues, because that's even more draw power.
Well, no, Reckless Greed fixes a lot. Like, the biggest problem I was having with this deck when I tried having a trap lineup is I was having a lot of consistency issues. And then I was thinking about it. I have the spell tower. I can draw every turn. I get an additional draw every turn. Why not run Reckless Greeds? And while I won't be able to conduct my normal draw phase, I can draw anyways and make up for it. That's essentially, that's good. That's the main deck.
Yep, now we're going to move on to the side deck. Pretty much, we wanted to start off with probably one of the best cards that we feel is good this format would be Mind Crush.
Mind Crush, this format is so good because there's a lot of monsters in a lot of the big decks that reveal themselves before they special summon, like Wind Up Shark, Abyss Megalo. Also, there's a lot of searching this format.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Dragoons, Wind Up Factory. You're gonna know, at least have an idea of what your opponent has in their hand for most of the more popular decks. The only
that or a buddy Aaron who got rammed with an effect veiler into his Thunder King. He was like, I'm pretty sure there may be an Honest, and got the Honest.
Well, and one of the things that's nice is, like, you can rip multiple copies out of your opponent's hand, and since there's the procedure with Mind Crush has changed slightly, if the maximum number of legal copies
isn't actually already on the field or in sight, you can check that you can look their hand.
Considered public knowledge. Yeah. So Mind Crush, I wanted to use it a lot,
but you didn't get to use it today.
Didn't play anybody. Or let's put us this.
Next, we got the one Kaiku.
Yeah, Kaiko. It's big spellcaster. Take out some of the Chaos Dragons and some of the other.
I mean, if we did play Mermails, that probably would have helped too.
I'm not sure if I would have. It would have depended if I had room. Two Soul Drains.
Yeah, that would be more helpful with the Mermails.
I think Soul Drain's way too important to not run this format. Mermails, Dark Worlds, Grand Soil Psychics, even though they really haven't shown up much. I don't want to show up at a tournament, someone play Grand Soil Psychics and be like, well, crap, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, Soul Drain has been truly underestimated this format. Like, at first everyone thought it was good, then everyone thought it was bad, and now it's actually technically really good.
Next, 2D Fissures.
D-Fissure's pretty obvious. I mean, you have Eternity in this main deck. I mean, so.
Well, the thing is, with this, I don't have to worry about my spell cards. They all go to the graveyard.
Yeah.
And monsters, I don't really care. Like, I don't care if my monsters go to the graveyard. I don't care if they get banished. I mean, the only card that really it hurts is my hand traps, which, oh well, my opponent can't use hand traps.
It's like, oh well, my 2 Maxis and my 2 Effect Veilers. If I really wanted to run that, I would take one of them out.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm going to side in D-Fissures, odds are I'm going to side out at least
one of each.
Also, since it helps protect it can help protect your guys from your own setup.
Exactly.
Next 2 Debunks.
Another one of the hand trap hate.
Yeah, but like things like Abyss Megalo,
Abyss Megalo, and
Shark, Dark Worlds. And like another card that I think really is going to be a game decider sometimes this format, and
people I remember everybody was running it, and then they kind of waved away from it, and then now they realize that they got to start using it again.
Yeah, the format just shifted.
Yeah, it just shifts. It just shifts back and forth.
2 Rivalry of Warlords. I'm running all spellcasters.
Yeah,
it screws up Dino Rabbit pretty bad. It screws up Mermails a bit because since theirs all are different types.
Oh yeah, what was it? Abyss Megalo's a fish, or is it?
Abyss Megalo and the big ones, Abyss Megalo and Moonland Glacier are sea serpents, but then the slightly smaller ones are fish. Some of them are aqua.
Yeah, aqua, sea serpents, fish if they have it. So yep, pretty much screws up anything that isn't mainly one type.
2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror.
Were you hoping to play Dark Worlds?
Actually, no. These are. If I was just siding these for Dark Worlds, I wouldn't be siding 2 because I have Soul Drains.
Okay, so what were you really worried about? Inzectors.
I have had too many bad times with Inzectors to not play Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, especially with them doing decently as of late. I was worried about people jumping on the bandwagon, and I didn't want to get rolled by that.
The old net dicks coming through.
1 Latent Imprisoning Mirror.
Well, the only reason why I'm wondering why you only want Latent Imprisoning Mirror in 2 of these is because I think Agents would probably be more popular than Inzectors.
Well, I guess the Agents are very popular, but the thing is, I put in 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors just because I wanted to have the I can deal with an agent setup. It's a little bit less ridiculous. Like
that I understand. Like if you also have Small Book of Power,
Yeah.
which you can then get over the Christia.
like Christia screws me really bad.
Yep.
And Hyperion's really big, and I'd rather just wait in prison and stop them, and then.
One Starlight Road in the side.
Yeah, if I'm gonna set it to a bunch of trap cards, I'm not gonna let a heavy completely ruin me.
I'm seeing like 12 traps.
Oh yeah, 12 traps, 2 magics, 1 monster.
Yeah. All right, and lastly we have the extra.
Yep. Armory Arm. It's easy to make.
Did you even get it out today?
Nope. I could have, but it was like there was. Before I realized we looked up that Soul Look of Fate doesn't target for any of its effects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, how am I gonna get down this obelisk? I'm like, okay, the only thing I can think of is I got to make a 3,000 monster that equip with Armory Arm, and I'm like, how am I gonna do that? But Armory Arm is really pretty easy to make in this deck.
Okay, not bad.
Ally of Justice, Cataster.
That's pretty much obvious.
Yeah. TG Hyper Librarian. He's a spellcaster and he's level 5 synchro.
Which makes it even better.
Yeah. Tempest Magician.
When you have all spellcasters, it's pretty easy to make.
Arcanite.
Another one of the spellcasters.
Yeah, it can dodge around bottomless. Yeah, it's really nice.
Oh, that's what I think is the best part. I mean, just boom, 2,400, and then
and since it doesn't get the power boost until the spellcaster is gonna, you can't get worried about bottomless. Black Rose Dragon, boom.
Obvious.
Scrap Dragon, and Stardust Dragon.
Okay.
Then onto my Xyz monsters. Gachi, rank 2 for defense.
Pretty obvious defensive.
Daigusto Phoenix for
the assault.
Then another one I like to run is Shining Elf.
Yeah, Shining Elf you can get into that with 2 temperance, plus you can equip it with power, and it's a special ability to drop it down by up to 1,000.
It drops them down by 500.
Yeah, but you can actually attach it twice at one time, can't you?
No, when your opponent normal summons.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just detach it once, minus 500. And since it's a spellcaster, you can defend it. There's a lot of times today where I was like Shining Elf. I need a spellcaster to run into things. Then I got Zen Mines, Leviair, and Leviathan Dragon just for rank 3s. I didn't even make these at all, but since I have 4 level 3s in there,
yeah, they're pretty standard rank 3s anyways.
Yeah, so I wanted to have a good option, and then Big Eye, Spellcaster.
Big Eye is big.
Yeah, I hear stealing your opponent's monster is pretty good.
Oh, that annoys me.
Yeah, no. What annoys me is having someone open up Rescue Rabbit twice. But anyways.
That's the deck profile. Thank you, Josh, for letting us see your deck.
Yep.
Tune in next time. Comment, rate, subscribe. Thanks, guys.
Yep.